There comes a moment, often quiet, often terrifying, when the illusion shatters. What once felt like love is revealed to be something far more sinister: control, manipulation, and slow psychological erosion. This realization doesn't come easily. It arrives after the damage has been done, when the soul feels hollow, and the world, once familiar, now feels hostile and distorted. This video is not just about surviving narcissistic abuse. It's about understanding its deep psychological impact, recognizing the internal wreckage left behind, and, most importantly, reclaiming your identity. This is a guide for those who've walked through the fire, a mirror for those still trapped in the fog, and a roadmap for those ready to rise. It is written with honesty, compassion, and a fierce commitment to truth.
Speaking of, here with Patrick Doyle, he is a best-selling author, a counselor, and an expert in emotional and spiritual abuse. So welcome again today.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So what the heck is a church narcissist?
Seems like an oxymoron, doesn't it? How can
Yes.
somebody be so spiritual and Jesus-like and harmful at such a high level?
Yeah.
Well, the reality is that this is actually kind of rampant. This isn't a small problem. It's a very large problem. And what you find with the church narcissist is someone who uses spiritual abuse as a way to cover up their own duplicity and control other people. And they are really good at image management, and they're really good at helping people feel and see what they think they want them to. But in actuality, they're actually very self-centered, and they don't take responsibility for anything. And there are a lot of theologies that support that. The leader cannot be questioned. The elder cannot be questioned. The husband cannot be questioned. He has the last say. Right? So if they believe that they're the last say and they believe that they're God's man, what are you going to say? How do you address their unhealthy behavior? And I've been a part of so many church situations where I was brought in to deal with the pastor's behavior and whatever. I've seen so many very, very damaging situations where pastors are duplicitous and lying about it. And the congregation, interestingly enough, a lot of times doesn't want it to be true. So they have their own denial. They don't want to lose their leader. They don't want their church to be, it's really similar to that of a marriage. Like, people don't want the family to be broken up. And that's understandable. But if we don't look at the behavior, we're not loving the person who's being destroyed, and we're not loving the person who's doing the destroying.
Mm-hmm.
And so a church narcissist is somebody who's going to use scripture. They're going to use their position. They're going to use anything they can to foster their control and power over you. And sometimes they might do it in a really nice, smarmy, sweet, Jesus-like way. But in the end, you feel not cared for. In the end, you feel controlled. In the end, you feel like they don't care. And the truth is, they don't. And the care is feigned. So as your gut starts to tell you in a church environment, this person isn't safe, listen to it. I don't care what somebody's biblical degree is. I don't care what their experience is. I don't care how many prayers they've uttered. I don't care how many Bible verses they memorized. I don't care how many college degrees they have. None of that matters. What matters is how they treat other people. And if you start to see that that person is unkind or duplicitous, pay attention to that and don't submit to the authority roles. Like, I have to not say anything because he's or she's whatever. No, speak the truth and let it have its way. But if you're going to have safety in a spiritual environment, you can't be in denial about the behavior of the leader. And this is something that why I think churches are actually places that narcissists thrive, is because of that denial and the unwillingness to confront the behavior because of the hierarchy. And then on top of that, you have the theological belief structures that support someone not saying anything. And they don't have any accountability generally. They are the top of the heap and no one can say anything. Those people generally are not going to change because they believe God is on their side. And the only reason why you're upset is because you don't understand the truth the way they do. So then there's no recourse. So it's really a dangerous reality. And if your instincts, your gut, your spirit is going off, pay attention to that. That's the thing that will lead you out. They're spinning people up and they're slandering people and all that stuff. So anytime you have someone with the level of denial that narcissists have and the extra level of denial that a spiritual narcissist would have, you're going to have harm. Relationships are going to be harmed. Safety will be harmed. You won't feel safe to be yourself. You won't feel safe to be honest. What you're going to feel safe to do is comply.
Narcissistic abuse is not just emotional confusion, it's psychological captivity. This is a guided breakdown of the most common psychological games used by narcissists to trap their targets, with powerful insight into how to break free. It is not theory. It's what has been lived through by countless survivors, and it's written to awaken something deep within. Your right to truth, your right to peace, your right to yourself. The illusion of innocence, when I didn't know, becomes a weapon. One of the most chilling tactics used by narcissists is pretending not to understand. They play dumb, not out of ignorance, but as a deliberate form of control. When confronted with harmful behavior, they dismiss the harm as a misunderstanding. They claim innocence in the face of clear wrongdoing, suggesting they didn't realize what they did was wrong. This feigned innocence is not about confusion. It's about escaping accountability. They count on your empathy, your patience, your willingness to believe in human decency. But behind the "I didn't know" is a full understanding of right and wrong, and a choice to ignore it. When you're forced to constantly explain why something wasn't okay, you begin to question your own sense of reality. This is the beginning of the erosion of self-trust. Redirect, attack, and blur, shifting the spotlight away from themselves. Narcissists do not reflect, they deflect. Confrontation is met with a calculated attack, not on the issue, but on the one who raised it. This tactic shifts focus away from what they've done and centers the conversation on you. Every time you bring up evidence or ask for accountability, the narrative becomes about your faults, your tone, your reactions. You become the problem, and this is not random. It's designed to destabilize you emotionally. This is the birthplace of reactive abuse. Your emotional outburst, triggered by days or months of manipulation, is used against you. The abuser claims you're unstable, over-emotional, even abusive. What started as an attempt to speak up turns into a performance, a show in which you're cast as the villain, and they are the calm, misunderstood victim. Deny, distract, and distort, a maze of falsehoods. Narcissists are masters of denial. When exposed, they deny it ever happened. If they can't deny it, they distort it. If you have proof, they say you misunderstood. If you didn't misunderstand, they claim you misinterpreted their intent. And just when you're fighting to clarify the truth, they throw in a distraction, an unrelated issue, a sensitive topic they know will trigger you. Suddenly, the conversation derails, and you're lost again, emotionally exhausted and more confused than before. It's not just about hiding the truth. It's about keeping you in a constant state of emotional turmoil. When truth is twisted and logic loops endlessly, your mind begins to shut down. You stop fighting, not because you believe them, but because you're too tired to keep resisting. Invasive control, when your thoughts aren't your own. One of the most insidious tools in a narcissist's arsenal is psychic intrusion. Not literal mind reading, but a way of speaking as if they own your internal world. They claim to know what you think, what you feel, what you meant. They tell you how you see things. They rewrite your reality with such confidence that you begin to wonder if you actually remember things the way you think you do. This tactic strips away your ability to trust your emotions, your memory, even your core beliefs. And it doesn't just disorient, it re-traumatizes, especially for those who grew up in controlling or emotionally invalidating households. This tactic brings old wounds roaring back. Emotional breakdowns, outbursts, and paralyzing self-doubt often follow. And once again, your reaction becomes the story. Your pain is recast as proof that you are too emotional, too unstable, too difficult. The abuse becomes invisible, and your suffering becomes the evidence used against you. Changing the frame, making it your fault again. When all else fails, narcissists reframe the entire situation. Even when they're caught red-handed, they insist the issue isn't what it seems. They make it about your past, your insecurities, your childhood, your parenting, anything but their behavior. It's a complete rerouting of blame and focus. You're no longer confronting an abuser. You're defending yourself. This isn't just unfair. It's psychologically crushing. It makes you question your instincts and feel ashamed for even speaking up. The conversation transforms from a pursuit of truth into a personal attack on your character. And that is exactly the goal: to shut you down, make you smaller, quieter, and easier to control. The emotional price: anguish, exasperation, and the slow drain of the self. What unites all of these manipulations is the emotional aftermath they create. The constant stress, self-doubt, and exhaustion leave you hollow. This is not accidental. Narcissists don't care about winning arguments. They care about controlling emotional landscapes. Each game they play is designed to extract emotional energy, your pain, your fear, your submission. The more you give, the more they consume. This is not about love or misunderstanding or even conflict. It is about power and the slow erosion of your will to resist. You begin to feel like a ghost of yourself. Your thoughts aren't clear. Your reactions don't feel like yours. Life becomes a blur of confusion, second-guessing, and quiet despair. Taking the power back, reframing the battlefield. There is a critical truth. Survivors of narcissistic abuse must learn. You are not engaging with a normal adult. You are dealing with someone who is emotionally disordered. Someone who does not speak in good faith or seek resolution. The normal rules of human interaction do not apply. The only purpose of their communication is to keep you emotionally hooked. Once this is understood deeply, the first path to freedom appears.